Let's see what will happen.
Where shall I sit? Next to you?
Yeah. Join in.
Oh, cool.
Join in, brother. Shall we make little kirtan for 5 minutes, or what do you think?
Let's start.
Or just wait?
Nobody there?
Not for now.
Sure. One participant.
Oh, this is us. One participant.
Yes, us, yes. So let's start then.
Start what? With who?
Now let's start.
Uh,
Let's start reading and people will come.
Isn't Prabhu Vishnu here?
No.
so let's first speak a little bit about what's happening in Bhagavatam. That's already very interesting. In the beginning, Bhagavatam starts with a conversation in a big forest. What is the name of the forest? Do you know? Naimisharanya, correct? It's a special place. It's a place known for great sages who are performing austerity sacrifices there. So yes, we have a huge gathering of sages, and these sages, they are very much determined to perform a sacrifice which will continue for 1,000 years. Can you imagine? Like we chant Hare Krishna for 2 hours, 3 hours, and that's already like. And these people, they are going to perform austerity, a spiritual practice that they are ready to perform for 1,000 years. And why is that? Why they are so determined to do that? Because they know the beginning of Kali Yuga is coming, and they want to counteract the bad influence of this age, Kali Yuga. So that's why they are ready to do this yagya, or special sacrifice. And on the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, they choose one of them who is extremely wise, great personality. His name is Sutta Goswami, to speak this wisdom. Sutta Goswami, he is very much expert in more or less most of the parts of the Vedic knowledge, especially the Puranas. So that's why they ask him to present Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, okay, but how did this Srimad Bhagavatam appear? That's the very interesting thing in Srimad Bhagavatam. You have few layers of stories, one in the other. Like we have the sages who are coming to Sutta Goswami and they are asking, okay, dear Sutta Goswami, please explain us the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he started explaining the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, but he's saying, okay, wait a minute. Let me explain to you how this message of Srimad Bhagavatam appeared, because this is part of the message of Bhagavatam. Yes?
The story of the Bhagavatam itself.
Yes. So he's actually describing a conversation that happened before that between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva, in which Narada Muni, the guru of Vyasadeva, actually asked him to present the message of Bhagavatam for the benefit of the people, especially people in Kali Yuga. So that's one of the major discussions happening in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then gradually we will see how Vyasadeva, manifesting the message of Bhagavatam, actually gradually he is giving it to his son, which is Shukadeva Goswami, correct? Yes. Who appears, I mean, how he appears, that's completely another story. We don't want to go too much aside now. But practically he stayed, 17, 18, 19 years in the womb of his mother before appearing in this world. Why? Because he was so afraid that the moment he appears, immediately Maya will influence him. So he said, well, then I'm not going out. I'll just stay here. Neutral situation. So Krishna personally had to come to promise him that he won't be influenced by Maya, and only then Shukadeva Goswami came out of the womb of his mom. So also very, very special personality, Shukadeva Goswami. So he's kind of relating this. And then we come to the point where a great soul Parikshit Maharaj appears. What is his connection with the Pandavas? Do you know?
Oh, he's the grandson of Arjuna.
Correct. He's the grandson of Arjuna. So who is the son of Arjuna? Who fought very strongly on the battle of Kurukshetra, but he was killed.
only 16 years old.
Fish. Somebody with a B.
No.
Somebody
There is B in the name. Second letter is B. The first is Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu, yes.
Great. So Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna, and he is the father of Parikshit Maharaj. So yeah, in the first canto, we have also the great appearance of Parikshit Maharaj. And then we have this amazing incident with his life, that he apparently committed a offense to a sage, and then the son of the sage cursed him that he would die after 7 days. And he understood, okay, now is the time to prepare for that. And what is the best way to prepare for that? To listen the message of Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Krishna. So basically, we have the first canto of Bhagavatam, which is part of Bhagavatam, but in a sense, you could say it's like
The introduction,
the
preliminaries.
to the story. And actually the real story, the real conversation between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadeva, who is giving the message of Srimad
Goswami
Bhagavatam.
was there also. He was present there. So that's why that's how he knows. And therefore he offers respects and prayers to Shukadeva Goswami in several places in Bhagavatam, because this is his guru. He's not his Diksha guru. In ISKCON, we are very much enamored by this Diksha guru concept, but the most important thing is the instruction, the Shiksha. So Shukadeva Goswami is the Shiksha guru of Sukha Goswami. It doesn't say that he gave a Diksha. Still, he is his guru. And so, just a sad point.
Yes, so let's speak a little bit about first canto. By the way, when you want to say something or ask, just do it. I mean, if you like, you can show, but the idea is to keep this song a little bit more informal, not too formal, not too much like a class in a university or something like that.
I didn't get why Parikshit, because he seemed like he was, I don't know if the word self-realized, but he seemed very advanced spiritually. Why did he get upset? So upset at the sage that he put the snake on him. How is he so bothered by that?
That's a good question. Well,
Otherwise, you will not have Bhagavatam.
sometimes here you have these amazing things happening with great personalities. Just because Krishna is making arrangements so that he can achieve something. Like, for example, we have Bhagavad Gita, which is born from the illusion of Arjuna. Arjuna, who is like one of the greatest warriors in the world, and he fought in so many battles and he was always victorious. And suddenly he kind of feels compassion and he doesn't know what to do and he's completely confused about his duty. And how is this possible? I mean, Arjuna, he's one of the eternal associates of Krishna from the spiritual world. How it is possible that suddenly he feels this deep illusion? So yeah, sometimes Krishna is making this arrangement just to, because Krishna has to give deep lessons to the people in the world. But he needs special person to help him to do it. Like, for example, in the history of Christianity, I mean, someone has to die for the sins of the people. So should be some very special person, should be someone very powerful. So Krishna is using his own people because only they are so powerful. They can actually perform this amazing task. Or we have later in third canto of Bhagavatam, the falling down of Jaya Vijaya from the spiritual world. I mean, Krishna cannot find someone else to fight with him. Like, why he has to bring? Well, because nobody else is so powerful to fight with the Lord, so he has to make special arrangement. Apparently, his devotees are falling from the spiritual world just to perform pastime with the Lord. So, yes, in this case, apparently Parikshit Maharaj was in illusion. He became angry. He lost control of his senses and he offended this sage. Later we are going to speak more about it, but even if we accept that, okay, it was a serious offense he did, I mean, in comparison to the punishment, to the curse he got, it was very minor offense, isn't it? Like, I come to your home and I don't know, I throw something dirty on the floor of your house, and suddenly you just come and curse me to die. It doesn't match us. There is no consistency in the two actions, isn't it? So that's also one reason to say that that was special arrangement of Krishna. Just Krishna wanted him to go back to the spiritual world and wanted the Bhagavatam to be.
In fact, when Shamika Rishi, the father of Shringi, the young and unexperienced Brahmana boy, when he came out of his trance and he saw his son crying, because this small boy, although he was very bold in cursing the king, little later he kind of came to his senses. He understood that what he did was very wrong, so he started crying. And then the father asked him what happened, and then when the father understood, he was mortified. He said exactly what Tulsi said. He told his son, you have given a very heavy punishment for a very minor mistake. And he said, well, dear son, the king, the emperor, is very special person. He deserves our protection, the Brahmanas. We have to protect him because he is protecting the Pragya, all citizens, and especially this king. He's Rajarshi, he's Sankha king, he's pure devotee of the Lord. He's not just an ordinary king. Therefore, in the Dharma Shastras, the most heinous sin is killing a Brahmana. But even more dangerous and terrible sin is killing the king, the emperor, because he protects many Brahmins. The king is the protector of the Brahmins. So therefore, Shamika Rishi, he was he was shocked. And then he thought for a long time what can be done to rectify the situation. But then he understood that this is the desire of Krishna, so nothing can be done. He has just to accept. And then he sent somebody to the king to tell him so he can prepare for these 7 days. And the Acharyas explained he would have normally gone himself personally, but he didn't want to put the king in such a situation that he has to apologize to him. So he just said something. Anyway, this was just a second.
Mystery explained, mystery has been revealed.
Many nice mysteries on the pages of Bhagavatam. So I was thinking today, maybe let's speak a little bit, let's start a little bit more philosophical. In the first chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sages of Naimisharanya, they address Sutta Goswami and they ask him questions. How many questions? Do you know? Almost.
Close.
Sorry, still from the.
Try again.
Phil, how many questions?
I don't know.
It's very close to 7.
5?
6.
Oh wait, I went.
Okay, but I mean, maybe they ask some additional questions also.
I do remember that.
Yeah, but at least the acharyas are saying that they're asking 6 questions.
The initial 6 questions. There are many questions, many more questions.
Yes.
But the initial was.
But the point is that it looks like Sutta Goswami is answering these 6 questions very fast after that in the 2nd chapter and 3rd chapter and 4th chapter. But actually, the reality is that these 6 questions, their answer is in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the whole Bhagavatam is actually, in a sense, answer to these fundamental questions in the beginning. And like some of these questions are, for example, can you describe the incarnations, appearances of the Lord, or amazing pastimes of the Lord, or which is the ultimate good for the whole human civilization? So basically, in the 2nd chapter, Sutta Goswami starts answering these questions. And 2nd chapter from Srimad Bhagavatam for 1st canto, it's very, very special chapter. It's super fundamental philosophical chapter because gives the essence of whole philosophy of Bhagavatam within these very concise sutras or verses or wisdoms. So I was thinking we can read few of them, which is very famous and very important. We won't read all of them because then it will become maybe too philosophical. But some of them are like really amazing verses and very important verses, very fundamental.
Amongst them is actually one verse who I think it's from 2nd chapter. When Prabhupada was asked which is the most important verse from Bhagavatam, and in one occasion he quoted
this verse
from 2nd chapter of 1st canto.
Right.
I guess those people will read this verse.
I will, for the pleasure of Panda.
Nah, for the pleasure. Devotees. Okay.
So after the sages are asking these questions, and then Sutta Goswami starts to speak, he offers obeisances to Narayana Krishna, to Narayana Rishi, who are great sages, and it is said that the way to satisfy Narayana Rishi is by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So they're like, you could say, like the presiding deities of Bhagavatam. He's offering his obeisances to Mother Saraswati. Why Mother Saraswati?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Yes, he is the goddess of knowledge. And to Shiva Vyasadeva, who is the author of Bhagavatam. And then he sang, "Oh sages," this is 2nd chapter, text 5. "O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Lord Krishna and so are of relevance to the world's welfare. Only questions of this sort are capable of completely satisfying self." So whatever you ask, this is beneficial for the whole world, because the answer of these questions actually is the knowledge that can save the whole humanity from the ignorance of the material existence. And now he started answering these questions. And the first verse he's saying is very famous verse. If someone quotes it, we'll give him gulab jamun.
I'm sick. I need another word.
He's
Okay.
eating his laptop.
We have another sweet, more healthy. Savai pumsa paro dharmo, yato bhaktir adokshaje, ahaitukia pratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which man can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. So the best thing we can do in this world is to do something that will help us to come to the level to engage in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. That's the best thing we can do in this world. And this devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. And if we, the spiritual entities, we are doing this, we are performing this devotional service with pure motivation, meaning not like a business, but rather just to give pleasure to Krishna. And it's not interrupted, meaning we are doing it every day. Not, let's say, one day you are doing it, 3 weeks you are not doing it, then one day you are doing it, 3 months you are not doing it. Then actually this will create a different taste, higher taste in our heart. It will make us relish the spiritual rasa, the spiritual taste. Like in a sport, for example, or music. If someone wants to learn piano very nicely, but he's practicing, one day he's practicing 1 hour, then 3 months he's not practicing. Then again, he's practicing 1 hour. How much time it will take?
It won't work.
Won't work.
Get what you learned before you master.
And it will be very, very difficult to cultivate taste for this activity. Why? Because you're not doing it a lot and you're not very good in it. That's why the taste is not there. If someone is doing it regularly every day, in the beginning maybe a duty, but very soon you start liking it so much, you won't do it because you have to do it. You'll do it just because you like it. Is it like that?
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, this is the solution for all problems in the human society. If someone has a problem, if he performs devotional service to Krishna, and if his devotional service is not selfishly motivated, but rather he is doing it just to give pleasure to Krishna, and he is doing it regularly, meaning every day, this will solve all of his problems. There is no material problem that cannot be solved in this way. This is the...
You said regularly. This says uninterrupted. That sounds like a lie. Because I'm actually wondering, how do you do something uninterrupted? Even when you practice, you have to stop to rest.
Well,
go to the gym, they have to rest. But how do you do anything uninterrupted without burning out?
There are 2 ways. One is you practice, and then you interrupt your practice. This is practice. But then if you're in love with somebody, that's the other way. That's the proper way. Then you think about this person all the time. So that's what we want to think. Be in love with Krishna, and then whatever we see, it will remind us about him.
So it's like,
but this is happening by practice.
We practice until it becomes spontaneous.
Yeah.
Then it's uninterrupted.
In other words, in the beginning of spiritual life, our mind spontaneously goes everywhere, and we again and again take the mind and bring it to the lotus feet of Krishna, to the spiritual practice. But then the time will come when we'll try to think about something else, and the mind will grab us and bring us to the lotus feet of Krishna. So it will be the other way around, actually. So much we will be able to enjoy the spiritual life and devotional service, even when we will be obliged to put our consciousness, our attention somewhere else. Our mind will say, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. I did it so long. I don't want. I want just to think about Krishna, nothing else. Such a big revolution will happen in our life. And later we'll see the first story that we'll discuss from first canto. Actually, it's showing exactly this revolution in the heart, how this transformation is happening in the life. So that's one very, very important lesson that we are getting. The next verse is saying, by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So if you're just doing devotional service to Krishna, if you need some kind of knowledge, it will come automatically from the devotional service. If you want to become detached from the illusion of the material world or whatever, it will come naturally just by doing devotional service. For the devotees, it's not necessary artificially to become renounced or artificially to go somewhere to cultivate knowledge. Everything will come. Like there is amazing story with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. A learned person went to him and wanted to ask important questions, philosophical questions about the philosophy, tattva, these things. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he was extremely learned, so people knew that. So he went there. He said, oh, Maharaj, I want little time to speak with you on these important topics, this, that. And then Maharaj said, oh, okay, I can do that, but please go to this and this devotee and ask him. And if he could not answer your questions, come back to me. I'll answer. Okay. So he went there and he found this devotee, apparently recommended by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, that he can answer his questions, intellectual, philosophical questions. What was this devotee doing? He was cooking in the kitchen. We just engaged cooking in the kitchen. And he said, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is sending me to you to answer my philosophical questions. He said, oh, yes, of course, if he wants, I will do that. But can you just help me a little bit just to finish my service, and then I'll be yours. I can do whatever you want me to do. And then this person engaged in service, and they were cooking together. He helped him. And when they finish, he said, okay, now we are done. Let me know what are your questions. I'll answer. And this man, he said, well, I don't know how it happened. It was like a mystical thing, but during the help that I was doing for you, suddenly all the answers of my questions came in my mind. So I don't have any more questions. Now I know what I wanted to know. And he left very happy, very satisfied. So it's like a proof story, how if we are just engaging in devotional service properly, everything else will come. Nothing will lack in our life. And then the next verse is saying the opposite thing. If someone is performing his duties, occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. So in other words, you can be very much perfect in what you're doing, but if this does not bring you to the point to develop attachment to Krishna, to develop attachment to devotional service, then Bhagavatam is using these very strong words, Shrama eva hi kevalam. It's a useless labor. People may say, how it's a useless labor? I did so much money. I built this huge building. I'm so influential. Everybody is listening to me. For how long time? How long will this continue? 20 years, 30, maybe 40 if you're lucky, maybe 50 in a rare cases. What are 50 years from the perspective of the whole cosmical time? The life of Brahma, who is like, I don't know how many trillions of years, from the perspective of Krishna, is just one breath. Krishna is making universe is created, universe is destroyed. That's it. What about our insignificant life? So we are doing whatever we are doing, but we should always remember, wait a minute, actually I'm doing all this only so that I can develop my attraction for Krishna. Otherwise, it will be useless labor. It doesn't matter what I'm going to do. I can become very famous, I can become very rich, I can take over countries, make empire, and so what? After 40, 50 years, we'll be gone. There will be only a name in case we are famous. If we are not famous, even the name will go very fast. So this is the idea. And now we are coming to the famous verse that Pamela Prabhu said, very famous verse. Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartor tayopakalpate nartasya hi dharmaikantasya kamo labaya hi smritaha. Basically, this verse is explaining that actually the real goal of everything we are doing is apavarga, to get free from the material existence. Nowadays, if you go and ask spiritual people, okay, so why you are practicing spirituality, religion, what do you people say? What do you think? Why you're going to the church? Why you are praying? Why you're going to the mosque? Why you're going to the temple? What?
To get a material benefit.
Most probably, isn't it? They'll say, well, I have problem with my health, or I want to pray for my kids to be healthy, and I want to pray for my son to get this very nice job. He has now amazing opportunity. I have amazing opportunity to get very rich, advance in my career. So I am going to pray for God to help me because I'm a good man.
What does someone pray for if the opposite happens? What do you pray for if you pray for your son to get a good job and then he dies the next day?
Quite morbid, aren't you?
What happened?
Quite morbid, aren't you?
Well, actually, Prabhupada once, somebody told him, some disciple told him that in India they are praying to Mangal Devi. Mangal Devi means the auspicious material nature. That means basically form of Durga. And Prabhupada said, yes, they are praying to Mangal Devi, but Amangal Devi will come. The inauspicious nature will come, although they are praying to her. So the disaster will happen sooner or later, material. But spiritually, we have only a bright future. Our future, our past is very dark, but our future is very bright.
Pessimistic materially, but optimistic spiritually.
Yeah,
correct. Well, you could say realistic materially, but
Yeah.
optimistic spiritually. But yeah, this is the statement of Sutta Goswami that, wait a minute, spiritual activities are meant to help you to get rid of the material existence and material problems, not to increase your material existence. Like Srila Prabhupada is giving this example, if someone is sick and he has a high temperature, how you are going to help him? You have to?
Cool them down.
Yes, you have to decrease his temperature or her temperature, not increase. So in the same way, if someone is already in the material existence, that means he has temperature, he is materially sick. And now the idea of spiritual process is not to increase his temperature more, rather other way around. But people sometimes they think, oh, wait a minute, but how? Like I want to live my life, and my life means I want to like accomplish material things, this, that. No problem. If you have a proper spiritual consciousness, you can accomplish many material things. But you will know, I am achieving this for who?
Krishna.
Yes,
Krishna.
for Krishna, not for myself. So then it won't be material anymore. It will be spiritual. Everything can be connected with spiritual life. Just we should know for who we are doing it. If we're doing it for ourselves, just, oh, I want to enjoy this, that, then it's material. Then there will be some karma reactions. But if we're doing the same thing, absolutely the same thing, but for the pleasure of Krishna, then it will be free from material reactions. Very, very.
But if everything can be connected, then can't the material reaction also be connected? Like, can't the reaction be like a wake-up call, like a good thing? Probably not ideal though.
It's not ideal, but it can, you can take it in this way. Like, we have one devotee in our country. His nephew became a devotee and bought Bhagavad Gita, and actually liked it so much, he started buying it online and giving as a present Bhagavad Gita to all of his friends and all of his relatives, everybody. Like, he bought so many Bhagavad Gitas. And he gave to his uncle. The uncle, this is great book, you have to read it, you have to change your life. His uncle was drinking a lot. A lot. So very often he had some problems, like he had 1-2 times car incidents and so on and so on. And one time he drank so much, he was so drunk that he had again car incident, but this time really serious. He almost died. It was like really on the edge. And then he came to his nephew and he said, okay, now I'm ready for a change in life. And he changed and he became a devotee. He stopped everything and he got initiated, and like he was living the last few years of his life, he was doing three things. He was either reading Shastra, Bhagavatam, or chanting Hare Krishna, or he was drawing pictures of Krishna, because he was actually teacher of art in a school. That was his profession.
When he was injured, recovering?
Yeah.
He recovered.
He recovered, but he was super scared.
He was elderly gentleman. So he was like 80 or something.
Yeah.
When he had the accident?
No, when he left his body. He left his body like a month ago. He was 80 something. He had nice life. At least 10 years.
Yeah. So his life became completely transformed. So you're right. This can become serious impetus to change your life. Suffering can become impetus to change your life. Actually, most of us, we join Hare Krishna movement because of suffering. If we have to be, I mean, if everything is like perfect and you have like whatever, $20 million and all around you, like everybody's like, ooh, it's very difficult to join spiritual movement, become a monk. Why are you going to become a monk if you have all these things? Generally, we join because, okay, we figured it out. Something is wrong with this life. No, I don't want to continue with this too much.
I have one question. So you were saying that even if we have material desires, we should dovetail it towards Krishna. But sometimes I feel like if we do like that, there is always a dilemma, like, am I really just using Krishna's name for my own enjoyment, or am I really like dovetailing it, my material life towards Krishna?
Okay, yeah, that's a very important question. Well, we have different kinds of material desires. Like some material desires, they are like what is the word? Whimsical things. Actually, we don't really need them, but our mind just like that whimsically is kind of desiring them. Oh, I want this, I want that. But actually, if we're going to do it or not, it doesn't matter so much. Not so important for us. So these ones we can easily like get rid of them. Then we have another category of desires. They are needs. You have to do it. You have to do it. And if you don't do it, your mind becomes so disturbed that you cannot continue properly with your other activities. Like you cannot live your life properly. You may not be able to practice spiritual life at all. Like your mind becomes so so disturbed, so depressed that you cannot function properly in this world. then okay, if you come to this level, obviously you have to do something about this desire. Otherwise, you cannot function properly. Now, within this category of needs, like when the desire become a need, you have again two categories. Some of these needs, they are not so important. So you can just don't pay them serious attention, and you have them as a need, but you can easily go over them, and they exist in your heart, but you can drag them alone for a long time, and gradually they will be
They'll wear off.
Yes, they'll wear off and they'll be gone.
So that's not like psychophysical nature. That's something else, like addictions.
It can be also part of your physical or psycho nature. It can be also part of it. It's some kind of need, but it's not so big. Like for example, when I was young and I was very much into sports. So you create a certain lifestyle, habits. So even when I came to the devotees, I had this need actually to do exercises. I wanted to do exercises. And I did. I was a devotee. I was living in a temple, but sometimes with the devotees, you just go somewhere and have fun a little bit, find a ball, and we just play something, whatever, football or little basketball, this, that. And in a sense, it's good because you kind of keep up your body healthy also in this way. But for me, it was not just because to keep the body healthy, it was a need. It was like a mental and to some extent also physical need. Just my body was used to this. Yes. But then gradually it was not so much need anymore. But sometimes it comes in your mind, oh, it will be nice just to go with the devotees and do it. But it's not really a need anymore. And then the so-called need may appear, the desire may appear, but you can say, I mean, not so important. Now there is something much more better to do. So let me just go and do this thing. So in this way, gradually, actually, it's not so important for you anymore. But then there will be other part of these needs, they will be really important for you. So then you have to address them, but connect them with Krishna. And this is okay, because Krishna anyway, he sees. It's in your heart, you have this. So you have to address it, and Krishna is fine to address it, but connect it with Krishna. You can address it in different ways. One way to address it is you can have it, and you can go in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, I have this need, and it's very deep, and really affects my whole life. Please, you do something about it. I mean, I know something should happen, but I don't know exactly what. And to tell you frankly, I'm not sure if my plan is the best. So maybe you better know what actually should happen. So please, you make some arrangement. Like one spiritual master was saying, when we have this very deep desire, need, we can just go in front of Gornitai and we can say, my dear lords, this is the problem.
Prabhupada said it.
Prabhupada said, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. My dear lords, this is the problem. Please deal with it. Do something about it. And Krishna will take care because we are surrendered devotees. Yes, we are trying to serve him, so he'll take care. But sometimes we don't have such a strong faith that Krishna will do something about it. Because we may go in Monday and we may say, Krishna, this is the problem, do something. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nothing. And we are already like, Krishna, I mean, I thought you were going to do something. I cannot stand anymore. But Krishna may have a different plan. From his perspective, he may see, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I know what this devotee needs, but if I give it now, it will be a serious problem. It will be so I have to wait another 45 weeks. And this, from our perspective, can be a little bit too much, isn't it? So then we may do something about it. If we cannot completely depend on Krishna, we can do something about it. We can go and say to Krishna, my dear Krishna, this is the problem, and I'm planning to do this and this. And please you help me so that my endeavors are successful. If you desire, let this thing happen nicely. And then Krishna will again help. He will again support us. So we just have to little bit analyze, see actually what is the issue, what kind of desires. Some are stupid desires, no need to give time and energy for them. Some are serious desires, but let's see how the things will develop. Some are really important. Then okay, we go to Krishna and we pray to him for help. Like, can you say some very important desires that they are basically need? You have to address them.
That aren't like eating and sleeping.
Well, eating, sleeping, generally they go automatically. Unless you have some problem, let's say, I don't know, you cannot eat or you cannot sleep, then okay, that's a serious problem. It's like a need. You have to do something about it.
What I've seen is that a lot of devotees first come in and they sleep a lot. You know, they wake up early and then they're not used to it. And they'll sleep a lot in the day and you see them sleep. Like, is that a need? Is that something that you can actually like pray for? I don't understand how that works. Some people are fine, like Michael, fine. Devotee take months. Some people just never can. They just sleep through Mangalarti. You know, sleep. Is that a need? What is that?
Well, for some it may be a need, for some maybe nothing serious. Depends on the person.
Speculation.
Yeah,
people have different nature, different level of purification, different gunas. Sleeping too much is in tamaguna.
You can pray for that then. You can pray.
Yeah,
If you can.
Not for everything. But
Pray for me also.
But also like what it will be too much, it depends from person to person. Like some people, they can sleep 5.5, 6 hours and they can function normally, no problem.
usually old people sleep less.
Yeah.
Young people, they need to sleep a little more. That's what Kadama Maharaj once told two people. He said, well, no, old man, I sleep less. You also get old and you sleep less. So don't worry. Fun point.
But let's say you're working serious physical work 8 to 10 hours a day. You gotta sleep more. Just your body cannot function otherwise. So it would depend also. But let's say health problems, that's a need. Huh? Your health is not okay, you cannot perform your service. Everything becomes like messy. Cannot get up early, you cannot chant. Everything becomes very difficult. Everything is dragging, like in your spiritual life. So it's difficult. Or yeah, whatever. Like for some devotees, it may be very important, let's say, to get married, because this, if they don't have this, they cannot focus on their spiritual life. It just, their mind is conditioned in such a way that if they don't have this thing fixed in their life, it's difficult. So it can be a need. For someone may not be a need. For someone maybe, okay, maybe they did it last life, so for them now it's kind of easy to go through it. But for some it may be a need.
Yeah, it seems some people become better preachers after getting married.
Yeah. Because family life, if you do family life properly, it will give you lots of energy and support, and you can do many things. Yeah, so like that, we should try to see what is actually a need and what is actually a kind of whimsical desire of the mind, not so important. Like, oh, I want to eat ice cream or pizza. Oh yeah, you can go and do it. No need to pray to Krishna for this. You can just go and do it. But if you're going to eat ice cream or like eat pizza or not, it's not the end of the world. This way or that way, you can survive. But some other things, they are really a need. Like, so you have to address them. That's okay?
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so there is another 5 verses that I'll just read, which are very important. Maybe with this, we can. I was thinking we can every time go from 6:30 to 8. What do you think? Is it okay for you? Is it too long? Is it too short? Just be
fun.
Honest. Because anywhere we see that kind of it takes a little bit time to get together, so we are kind of already losing around 15 minutes. So to have at least an hour, nice discussion.
You just have the buffer. Then if you have the hour and a half, and if it ends in an hour, that's fine. But if it goes the extra, we have the time for it. So having the expectation is right.
Okay. So let's say between an hour and a half. Depends on the situation and the discussion. On the needs of the people. Okay, so we have few very important verses. So Sutta Goswami, he continues his answers. And these are verses, yes, chapter 2, we are going to we'll start with verse 14. So basically in these verses, Sutta Goswami is describing the process of devotional service. What will happen? Okay, if you ask questions about the absolute reality and you get the answers and you start performing this devotional service, so what will happen in your life? It's good to know, because then we can, from time to time, just look at ourselves and see what is the result.
Which verse is it?
We will start from 14. 1 to 14. Tasmat ekena manasa Bhagavan Satvatapati Shottavya Kirtitavyascha Dheya Puja Chanityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. So, in other words, fix your mind in devotional service. And then, text 15. With sword in hand, intelligent man cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So if we do this devotional service and fix our mind on Krishna, our karma will be gone, will be cut into pieces. So we will become free from material existence. And now the process is given. Text 16. We just read the English. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So what is the beginning of this process? How everything starts? It starts with
Renunciation.
With
Renunciation.
renunciation will come later. It starts with a Hare Krishna devotee that you are seeing on the street.
Oh, nice.
You just walk on the street and you see some strange guy and he's saying, "Hey, you look very spiritual. What's your secret?" And you're like, "Really? Me? Yeah, are you doing some yoga meditation, something?" "Yeah, actually, I'm doing a little bit yoga meditation." "Great, I have a great book for you. Just check it out." And then you speak a little bit with him, and then you decide to come for a program, and then you see, cool people, nice people. I like these people. I want to speak more with them, spend time with them. You start associating with great devotees. This is the beginning of the spiritual process. In the beginning, we did not do any devotional service. We didn't know about Krishna. We didn't know about Bhakti Yoga. We didn't know anything. But we met a devotee. We just met a devotee, and that was the beginning of our spiritual life. Like I remember when I was 17 maybe, and I was doing bodybuilding, making muscles, you see. I was very successful. And I was eating like very healthy sandwich I did at home in front of one big mall. I was just about to enter the mall, so I said, let me eat my healthy sandwich and then I'll go inside. While I was eating it, a lady came in front of me. I said, hey, can I show you these books while you're eating your sandwich? I said, okay, no problem. So she started showing me this book, that book, speaking this, that. And then she asked me for donation, and I gave her all my money. These were 15 cents. I had only 15 cents in my pocket. I said, sure, I'll give you my money, no problem. I'll give you donation. And she was so compassionate that she said, I see you have an interest, actually, because I asked her a few questions. So I'll anyway give you a book, although you're giving such a small donation. So she gave me the book. I read the book. She gave me a card. I went to their place and I met the devotees and I liked it. And I said, oh, I want to come back again, but not too soon because I liked it too much. I'm afraid if I come too soon, I'll become too attached to it. So no, I won't come more than once in a month. I put a limit to myself.
I don't think that works.
Gradually, they got me. But the idea, the point is that this is how the spiritual process starts, with getting in contact with the devotees.
Does that count as hearing? Does that count as hearing?
Well, actually, what we read in this verse is that serving those devotees or associating with them. So naturally, when you are with them, you start doing something about them. Who are completely free from vice. Great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So by getting in contact with the devotees, naturally you will start from time to time hearing about Krishna.
Also hearing, because I'm thinking, like when you're on the street talking to them and whatnot.
Yeah, you could say in a sense, this is the beginning of your hearing about Krishna. Yes. The point is that by doing it again and again and again, affinity for hearing of messages of Vasudeva is developed. So you start liking it and you want to come again and again and again. And before you know, you are a Hare Krishna devotee. This is how it works. So what happened after that? Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is a Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So Krishna, he is in the heart of the devotee. He sees, wow, this devotee, he comes and regularly associates with the devotees, and he is rendering some service to them, and he is listening carefully. Okay, I'm happy. And then Krishna from inside cooperates with the devotees outside, and they start working together as a team. So the devotees from outside are trying to purify you, and Krishna from inside, from the heart, is purifying you. So gradually he is removing your anarthas one after the other, one after the other. How? Just by regularly spending time with the devotees and listening about Krishna. Gradually, most of the things in your heart, bad things, they disappear one after the other, one after the other. This is what happens.
Come out too, it seems like they don't just come out nice and smooth. You have to actually almost like, I don't know, it's like regurgitation. If you ingest some bad food, you have to taste it on the way out. So it almost feels like when you get cleansed, like feel all the junk coming out as it's getting purified.
Yeah, you feel something. You feel something. Why? Because we have many dirty things in our heart. Actually, we are not conscious that they are there. Like, have you heard sometimes devotees, they say, when they start practicing seriously Krishna consciousness, sometimes devotees say, well, to tell you frankly, my life before Krishna consciousness was actually better and easier. Now that I became a devotee, actually, I found out so many crazy things in my mind and in my heart. What to do, what to do, what to do, what to do.
Was that true in your experience?
My experience, yeah, Actually, some of the things I was not conscious that they are there before I become a devotee. Or let's put it in another way. I was conscious they were there, but I was not considering they're a problem. So then later, actually, I figured it out. Wait a minute, that's actually a problem. Before that, it was something normal. Many of the crazy things we were doing, actually, they were considered normal, like in the society outside if you go. Many of the things like drinking, illicit activities, intoxication, eating, these are like, that's life. That's why you live. So then gradually you start finding out, oh, wait a minute, why I'm doing these things? This is wrong, this is wrong. So yes, sometimes the body these things. But Krishna, he's very merciful, so he will make the operation in such a way that we won't feel much. He will take care. Those who are very, very strong, he may decide to make the operation without anesthesia. Then it will be little painful. But this is rare. This is like for special cases. Like Krishna knows. So this guy, I know him. He's super strong. Like I have a friend of mine. His karma is he has a bad teeth. He has very good health. Otherwise, his body is very like muscular and strong. He's a vegan, but very strong. But he has very bad karma with his teeth. His teeth are very, very bad. So when he was already 40 years, he had to change all his teeth, everything, everything. So he said to the dentist, I don't want to put any anesthesia, nothing, nothing. So they had to, I mean, it's scary, huh? Sometimes they have to just put some little feeling and it's already like you are freaking out. To change all your teeth without. So for such kind of guys, Krishna, he may say, he'll manage, no problem. But most of us, Krishna knows. If he just puts the injection in, we are already losing consciousness. So he will make it in a very nice way, like for the kids.
Your friend didn't do that for Krishna, did he? Why did he do that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
And he didn't turn it back because you can always give up and say, you know what, I changed my mind. He didn't change his mind.
He didn't.
Wow. Yeah, hopefully he came to Krishna consciousness. He could handle it.
Yeah. He's actually very serious devotee. He made many, many devotees in his life. Special. So. But yeah, the point is that gradually Krishna, he will remove all these things. What we have to do? We just have to listen from the devotees. This is the process. Listen from devotees and Krishna will take care for the rest. And then next verse is saying,
I just wanted to mention something before we move on. Yesterday, I was listening to my Guru Maharaj's lecture about the relationship with Guru, and he was mentioning that you have to, like, most importantly, listen. And he gave the example which you gave in the beginning about the guy who went to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and he said that, just go and help my disciple. And he was making the point that just because he listened to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that's why his heart, like Krishna made a way in his heart, and that helped him become a devotee. So he was mentioning that.
yes, that's the most important essence. Then what happens after that? By regular attendance in the classes on Bhagavatam, what we are doing now, and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, associating with the devotees, and naturally you serve if you associate with them, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. So almost everything is completely finished.
Almost. Instead of everything.
Why almost? Acharyas are explaining that when almost everything is destroyed, devotee may become very proud that he is very advanced. I'm more advanced than the other devotees. I am now so advanced that I can be a guru of the Vaishnavas. These traces of subtle impurities, gradually they will be also destroyed. Krishna will make arrangements. He will remove this pride. Krishna doesn't like his devotees to be proud, so he will take care. But some subtle impurities like this one can stay for a little longer.
But he'll humble us.
Yes. Krishna knows his job. He'll take care of everything. No problem. So almost everything is destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So one becomes very seriously established in his spiritual practice. Before that, we cannot be seriously established. Why? Because we try to be, but all these impurities in the heart, again and again, they push us left and right, and we cannot stay focused. So one day we are super focused, next day our mind brings us somewhere else, then next day again. But when these impurities are completely destroyed, then we become very focused in devotional service. And what after that? As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. So all these bad qualities that we have, anger, greed, illusion, lust, all these things, they disappear from the heart. They cannot touch the mind of the devotee. His devotee is so much established in a positive mood, in thinking about Krishna, that all these qualities, they cannot touch his mind. Even if sometimes they appear a little bit in his heart, they cannot influence his mind so much that he moves away from his spiritual practice. So his mind becomes so potent and so pure, it's not influenced anymore by these lower qualities. This is the greatness of the devotee. And then he becomes completely happy. And he gets positive knowledge about Krishna. So until then, we may not know who is Krishna. I mean, we hear many things, but we don't know actually. It's a little bit like I am explaining Mataji Pushpanjali, that when she lands with a plane in Sofia airport, in the capital of Bulgaria, she has to catch a bus number 84 and then get off in a place called Mlados, and from there get another bus, which is 88, and then get off in Student City, and then after a few stops with another bus, which is 69, she can get on this place, and then she'll see amazing forest from one side, and then she'll see another few big buildings on the other side, and after another 300 meters on the left side, she'll see a sign which is saying, "Welcome to the spiritual world. This is the Hare Krishna temple in Sofia." So do you understand now? Can you see it? I can see it because I have been there.
Oh,
But you know it, but you cannot see it.
but I can't.
So on this level of Krishna consciousness, everything that we heard, everything that we know, it becomes reality. You see it. You see Krishna. You see spiritual reality. Then it becomes real for you. Now we know it's real, but we don't see it. It's a little bit like an explanation. But the time will come when our heart will become so purified and our consciousness will become so spiritual, we will see the reality. So this is how the process will work, where the process will bring us. And then what happens? Our karma is completely destroyed. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, the knot of karma, and no misgivings are cut to pieces. We may have so many ideas. Krishna is this, Krishna is that, this person is this. All this is cut into pieces because all these are our ideas what the reality should be. But if it's like that or it's not like that, we don't know. When we see the reality, we understand this is the reality. Everything else is, I had some ideas, but actually it's not exactly like that. The chain of fruitive action is terminated when one sees the self as the master. Hare Krishna. So this is how Sutta Goswami is describing the influence of the process of devotional service, or namely associating with the devotees and hearing from the devotees, serving people Bhagavatam and listening the book Bhagavatam. This is the result. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your kind attention. We can stop this guy here.
How many people attended this?